A lot of people are asking me right now, why am I out here? Well, I'm out in Arizona. I mean, yeah, I did live here for almost about 6 years, about 9 years back. What do I know now? Well, ultimately, I know what America knows. That's what it comes down to. I go around the country. I've been to over 140 tea parties. And let me tell you what, the movement is alive and well, no matter what mainstream media says. Now, as we gain power, the people, not the Republican Party, not the Democratic Party, but as the people gain power, the power that we were supposed to have originally, as they gain power, you're going to have people that are going to try to take away from it. They're going to try to discredit us. Recently Congress people walking in said I was getting spit on, I was getting name called, and that kind of stuff's probably happening from their side, just trying to discredit the movements. And so don't get dismayed, by no means. Don't get disheartened, because we do have a voice, and it's being heard for the first time in a long time. So you got to continue doing it. You got to ask yourself, how big is your commitment? I mean, if you don't have money, which most of us don't, you got to be out there physically. You got to get out there and hand out signs. You got to get behind the candidate that you want to get involved with, and you got to help him or her out. You got to hand out the information. You got to make sure that you ask the tough questions. I mean, I find it absurd. I became famous for asking a question. I mean, really, honestly, that's what Americans are supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be asking questions. Exactly. You have to ask questions. That is your job as an American. You are blessed enough to be born in the greatest country in the world. There's a responsibility that comes with that. There's a responsibility. I'll talk about responsibility a great deal up here, because unfortunately it's become a bad word. Our leaders, our sports heroes, our politicians, they don't like the word responsibility. They like to blame somebody else for their shortcomings. They like to say, well, we have to raise taxes because, we misspent our money here. But they're not going to tell you they misspent their money, but they're going to want to raise taxes. They want to penalize you for their failings. And we got to say, no, you can't do it anymore. You're going to take what we give you, and you're going to do what you need to do with it, but no more. No more. So that's why I'm here today.
Plumber.
We got to take away the sense of entitlement this country has grown up with the last 20 years. You're not entitled to anything. You're your own person. You make your own way. The federal government's not here to take care of you. I mean, Margaret Thatcher said it, and a lot of people have been quoting her, but you know what? If it's the truth, keep quoting it. The problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. Now, this isn't rhetoric. This is practical. I mean, think about it for a second. Everybody likes to help people. I like to help people. I like to go to people's houses, fix things. If they can't afford it, don't charge them. If someone's having a hard time, you pick them up, you help them out. That's what we Americans do. So we like to help people. But it's not the federal government's job to make us help people that won't help themselves. Now, there's about 5 things I like to talk about. I like to talk about individual responsibility. I know, bad word. I like to talk about accountability. I mean, think about it for a second. I'm a plumber. Been one almost all my life. If I show up to your house and do a job, and that job doesn't stay fixed, are you going to call me back?
Yeah.
Because you're holding me accountable to my work. Do I get to charge you any more money? No, I wish. But no, I don't get to charge any more money. So you're holding me accountable to my actions. We do not hold politicians, Republicans and Democrats, accountable. I mean, the best 2 jobs in the world right now are being a politician or a weatherman. It's God's honest truth. They can be wrong all the time, yet they still have a job. So we, as the American people, have to hold these guys accountable. So you see, my message isn't about Republicans. It's not about Democrats. It's about getting behind the best American that's going to represent you and be a public servant. So we have individual responsibility. We have accountability, education. Now, I can talk about this pretty well. My son's straight A student. My son plays football. He's captain of the football team. My son wrestles, captain of the wrestling team. Most important thing, though, that I said out of all of that, he's a straight A student. Now, I make my son learn. The teachers teach them, but it's the parents' job to make your children learn. You can't blame the teachers for it. They got a very hard job. So it comes down to individual responsibility again. You have to make sure your children learn. I do it by example. My son sees me read my Bible, he's interested in God. My son sees me read the history book, he's interested in history. He wants to learn, and I take full credit for that because I'm making him do it, and he's following my lead. So education is key. You can't learn what you need to learn about any of these candidates over here in a 3-minute soundbite. You can't do it. You got to come up to them and talk to them. You got to read their history. And I tell you what, I went through all 12 years of J.D. Hayworth Hayworth's voting record in Congress, pretty damn good. You know, but now that took me 9 hours to do. What's your commitment level? I don't even live here, and I went through that. So what is your commitment level? What are you going to do to find out about the people who run to represent you? That's what you got to find out. You know, the commitment level of our founding fathers was intense. Now, you guys jumped in your cars, turned on your air conditioning, turned on your stereo, and drove here. You know, sometimes, some of you maybe from an hour out, some of you from 10 minutes out. You know, John Adams had to ride a horse in the dead of winter over 400 miles, freezing weather, to go take a meeting. Okay, think about that for a second. That was his commitment level. What is your commitment level? Are we any less Americans than they were before us? Well, right now, I'd say yes, we are. Because look where we're at. Look what we've allowed to happen. You know, we have to take blame for ourselves first before you can blame a politician. A politician is just like a fox in a hen house. You can't blame the fox for eating the chickens. The politician is going to take advantage of you every time they get the chance to. So it's up to us American people to hold them accountable. If we won't do it, no one else will, and we'll be here. Now, a lot of people say, well, Joe, you're not an expert. And I'll tell you right now, no, I'm not an expert. I admit that wholeheartedly. But my question to you is, look at where the experts have gotten us. It's that simple. Now, the Constitution. Okay, we got individual responsibility, accountability, education, the Constitution. There's a saying out there that says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Exactly. The Constitution isn't broke. The people that crafted the Constitution were a hell of a lot smarter than the people that are currently running our government. So, then you have political castration. They call that political correctness in nice circles. I call it political castration. You know, most people are afraid to speak their mind anymore. You know, I'm not afraid to speak my mind. That's one of the things that says, I guess, resonates with some of y'all, because I don't worry about it anymore. I never have. Now, in the past, it's gotten me a little bit of trouble, especially when I was a teenager with my dad. But that being said, we are Americans. Do not be afraid. We can't be afraid. We've never been afraid in the past. We've never met a challenge that we did not overcome. So political castration has to be thrown out. You have to bring back the American pride. You know, the Tea Party movement is about the individual. It's not about the movement. It's about the individual and your commitment level to it. So you got to decide what you're going to do. If you got the money, then, you know, help us out. Help us to forward out, get more information, get the facts out. Listen, we got a lot of work to do. We're very young, a year and a half old. There's going to be a lot of con artists out there. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to shake things up. You know, don't lose sight of what's important to it. Don't worry about the egos. Don't worry about the infighting amongst the Tea Parties, because people, you know, don't like each other. Well, I'm not going to go to your Tea Party. I'm not. You know, ultimately, you're hurting America. Forget the egos and let's get the job done. So that is my message. That's all I want to talk about. You know, let's be proud to be Americans again. Let's work out the American spirit. Charlie Daniels sings a lot of songs about it, and I like Charlie. So let's talk about that American pride, American spirit. Let's bring that back. When we bring that back, a lot of things are going to turn around for us. So thank you very much for showing up. Don't forget today, Sunday, I'm going to be here with the Tea Party Express. State Capitol from 2 to 4. Let's figure out what your commitment level is. Go back home and bring 10 of your friends. I mean, let's make this happen for America, for Arizona. Let's make this happen. Thank you very much.
Well, I tell you what. Are you ready to come back on Sunday with 10 of your friends? Isn't it great to have Joe the Plumber here with us? You know what he said made so much sense to us. Stop and think about it. The first 3 words in the Constitution are "we the people." The final 3 words in the 10th Amendment to the Constitution are "to the people." Lincoln spoke of government of the people, by the people, for the people. You and I, as American citizens and as we the people, can make it happen. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America. Thanks for being here.